Let me do another example. Okay, guys. So on this example, basically you have a cube root, right? So how do I find out the integral of this? So the limit here, the limit of the integration here is basically -1 through 1, okay? Let me write down that. So -1 through 1. So this is the definite integral. So to find out definite integral, first of all, you need to find out the value of the indefinite integral, meaning that without plugging in -1 through 1, and then you will plug in later, okay? So how do I do this? Is basically what you do is equals to, I would write one time I write -1 through 1, and then t to the, do you know how do I write this in the exponent form? There is 1, right? There is 1 there, t to the 1. So this goes to the denominator of the exponent, so t to the 1/3 minus 8, and then I write dt. So if I find out the integral of this, you write t to the 1/3 plus 1, that's over 1/3 plus 1, right? And then minus, what is the integral of 8? That is 8t. You see that? So what are the limits of integration? -1 through 1. Okay. All right. So what you get there is basically you just simplify that once. Okay. So when you simplify, what do you get? You get so how much is t 1/3 plus 1? You will get t to the 4/3 over 4/3, right, minus 8t. Again, the limits of integration are -1 through 1. So let us write in little nice form. So how do I write this fraction in the denominator? I write 3 over 4, and then I write t to the 4/3, right? And then minus 8t, but the limits of integration are -1 through 1, right? So let us plug in 1 first. So 3/4, 1 to the 4/3, right? And then minus 8 times 1. That's what I plug in 1, and then do minus, and then inside the parenthesis I write 3/4, -1 to the 4/3, right? And then minus, so 8 times -1. You see that? So how much do you get there? Okay, so how much is 3/4? How much is 1 to the 4/3? 1 to the 4/3 is basically 1, right? Minus 8 minus. So how much is 3/4? So -1 to the 4/3. So how much is that? So -1 to the 4/3 can be written like this, right? So let me do it slightly somewhere. So if you want to know how much is the -1 to the 4/3, so what you can do is, you see -1 to the 4/3, right? You can write -1 to the 4th, right? And then times 1/3. You see that? So that will be basically -1 to the 4th is +1 to the 1/3, right? So any finite exponent of 1 is 1. So this will be basically, this will become basically 1. You see that? So this will be basically 1. All right. So let me write that. Okay. So this will be times 1. And then minus 8 times -1 will be plus 8. You see that? Okay. Now what happens after that is 3 times 1 is 3/4 minus 8, and then minus 3/4, right? And then minus 8 again, because you distribute that negative sign to both of these, right? So you cancel the positive 3/4 and negative 3/4. What you get is -16. That is your integral value, okay? The value of the definite integral. Okay guys, so let us do some more examples there. So I want to do example number 6. Okay, so that will be let us do some example with the trig functions. Okay, so evaluate this integral. So 0 to pi, exactly the same technique for all of those. Okay, sine x minus 4, and then you do dx. So how do I do this problem? is basically the same thing, right? So you find out the integral of sine x. Do you remember what is the integral of sine x? It is negative cosine of x. Why? Because the derivative of negative cosine x will be positive sine x minus, what is the integral of 4? That will be 4x, right? Now you write down the limit 0 to pi. Now what you do is you plug in pi to both of these. Negative cosine of pi minus 4 pi. I plug in the upper limit, right? And then do minus, I will plug in the lower limit. Negative cosine of 0 and then minus 4 times 0, right? Okay, so what is the value of cosine of pi? So cosine of pi is negative 1, but there is one negative already, so positive 1 minus 4 pi minus minus plus, what is cosine of 0? It is 1, and minus times minus is plus 0, right? You see that? So how much is that? This is pi. So 1 plus 1 is 2, and then minus 4 pi, right? So the answer is 2 minus 4 pi. Okay, so the answer is 2 minus 4 pi. Let us do another example. I want to do example number 7. So that has a little bit of the trig function again. Okay, so find the integral of 0 to pi over 4, okay, 3 minus 3 sine square theta over cosine square theta, and then there is d theta. Do you have any idea how do I do this problem? There are so many ways to do this problem, but the easiest way would be, again, there are many ways, right? What you can do is you can split 3 over cosine square and then 3 sine square over cosine square and then write tangent square and change that into secant. But the easiest way would be, what is the common on the top? Just take that out. So 0 to pi over 4, and then you take 3 out. What is left? It's 1 minus sine square theta, right? Over cosine square theta. You see that? Oh, by the way, I forgot to write, this one will be, there is 5 there, 5 cosine square theta, right? So this will become 5 cosine square theta. Okay, there is d theta, don't forget that. So what you get is 0 to pi over 4. Who remembers what is 1 minus sine square theta? That is cosine square theta, right? Because there is a formula. The formula is sine square theta plus cosine square theta equals to 1, right? That's why sine square square theta, so subtract sine square theta from both sides. Sine square theta. If you do that, then you will get cosine square theta equals to 1 minus sine square theta. You see that? So basically I use that as a cosine square theta for the 1 minus sine square theta. Okay, so what you get is 3 cosine square theta over 5 cosine square theta. Actually, we haven't done the entire derivative here so far, right? What we're trying to do is we try to simplify and write in easier form first before you integrate. So you divide cosine square theta by cosine square theta, you cancel out, so that becomes 0 to pi over 4, right? 3/5 d theta. So what is the integral of 3/5? So 3/5 will be 3/5 theta, right? And then the limit of integration is pi over 4. Now what you do is you now plug in, that will be 3 over 5 times pi over 4 and minus 3 over 5 times the 0, right? If you simplify, you will get 3 pi over 20. That is your answer. Okay, guys? So I will do few more examples. All right? So let me pick one example that is given slightly differently. What it says is, let me write down that. So that says, find the area, number 8, find the area of the region bounded by by y equals to x squared, negative x squared plus 10x, and then y equals to 0. Okay, so here you need to know how does the graph look like first. Okay, so let us see how does the graph look like for this example. Okay, so because this is a quadratic, and where the first term is negative, the a is negative, meaning it is a parabola that opens downward, right? And I want to know that what are the x-intercepts for this problem. It looks like, how do I find out the x-intercept? Okay, to find out the x-intercept, you said y equals to 0, and then negative x squared plus 10x. Okay, so now how do I solve it? You take negative x out, you get x minus 10, right? If you solve this, you'll get x equals to 0 and then x equals to 10. So these are the x-intercepts. So this is 0, this is 10, right? So your x-intercept will be, it will look like this, right? But the question is asking you to find out the area between this curve and then y-axis, x-axis, right? Y equals to 0 is x-axis. Okay, this is basically x-axis, right? This y equals 0 is x-axis. So you want to find out the area between area under this curve and then between 0 and 10. So how do I find out the area then? So basically what you do is, on the solution, actually solution started from here. I first find out the limit, because the limit is not given, you will have to find out here. Okay guys, so the area is, you write 0 to 10, x runs from 0 to 10, and then the function, right? What is the function? Negative x squared plus 10x, and then there is dx. Now find out the integral there. You get negative x to the third over 3 plus 10 times x squared over 2, right? That's what you get. And then what are the limits? Limit is 0 to 10. See that? Now what I want to do is I want to plug in. So negative 10 to the cubed over 3 plus, this is 10 divided by 2 is 5, and then 10 to the square, right? And then minus, you plug in 0. So when you plug in 0, this will become 0, that will become 0, because both of them have x, right? So now what you do is negative 1000, right? 10 to the cube is 1000 over 3 plus, it is 500. Yes. So what you get is basically, if you use calculator, you will get 500 over 3. Or you can just use by hand, right? So it is like 500 is 1500 over 3. So 1500 over 3 minus 1000 over 3 is 500 over 3. Okay guys, so I will put more examples in the next video. All right.